Kazakhstan has a rich natural and landscape diversity. The mountains hold a special place in its natural beauty. The mountains in Kazakhstan cover less than 10% of the country's territory, and they're mostly located in the east and southeast of the country. They are also in elevated areas in central regions, the famous Kazakh hilly land or Sererka, in the far west, Aktau and Karatau Mountains on the Mangoshlak Peninsula, and even in the north, the so-called Kokshetau Plateau. But these are low mountains, less than 1,000 meters above sea level. The really high mountains are the Tian Shan Mountains in the south and southeast of Kazakhstan, as well as the mountain ranges between them, Saur, Tarbagatai, and the mountain range system of the Jungar Alatau. Despite their small area, they have quite a diverse landscape and represent more than half of the total biological diversity of the vast territory of Kazakhstan and their ecosystems. The animal world of the northern Tian Shan Range is quite diverse and closely connected with its natural environment. The thorny rough groves of the wild rose, hawthorns, and barberry coverings the slope in many places are inhabited by fazans. Nightjars, long-eared owls can also be found in the bulks. Quick grosbeaks are near the clay drops, and lower near the mountain rapids you can find kingfishers that have beautiful green feathering. The grassy slopes are rich with yellow bunting and small dormice. Foxes also live here. A lot of other animals that usually live higher up in the mountains come down here for the winter period. A lot of animals live within the forest line. Elegant roe deer can be found in the leaf forest, and when berries and fruits ripen, bears come down from the high hills. Dense pine forests have graceful deer, the Siberian red deer, and the black grouse can be seen among the pine branches. Badgers, ermines, and in the deepest places of the forest, wildcats also live at such heights. Boars can also be found here. They are hard to see, but within the forest edge, there are always fresh tracks and dug-up ground. Even higher up in the zone of high-elevation meadows, marmots live in colonies. When they see humans from a distance, they send out an alarm squeak and hide in their holes. Sharp cliffs stand tall above the alpine meadows. These are the favorite places of mountain goats. Other famous residents of the mountains are the snowcock, red-beaked chow, large predatory bird, the bearded vulture, and the famous rare snow leopard. The Tian Shan Mountains, Chinese for Sky Mountains, have a latitudinal length of almost 2,450 kilometers in Central Asia. The highest mountain range, with the highest Pobeda Peak and Han Tengri, is at the borders of China, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan, and divides the whole mountain system in almost two equal and slowly descending parts. Almost the entire northern Tian Shan Range is located in Kazakhstan except for the big part of the Kyrgyz Alatau and the southern slopes of Kungay Alatau. The deep river valleys of the northern Tian Shan are quite wide, and in their eastern part they flow into very high altitude valleys. Wide lake basins are not rare for this area due to the low slope relief in the high mountainous areas, but we can find here not only the famous Issyk-Kul, which is in Kyrgyzstan, but also quite large lakes like Issyk and the Big Almaty Lake in the Tranzili Alatau mountain range. The Tian Shan Mountains give start to many rivers. Big and small, starting from the very glaciers, they carry down their water with great frenzy. One of them is the Chilik River, one of the largest left confluents of the Ili River. This river flows through the Intermountain Valley, dividing the northern ranges of Tian Shan, Kungay, and the Transili Alatau. From the very sources, the Chilik River flows almost directly south between the mountain ranges. At the exit to the wide valley Jalanash, the river sharply turns north and continues in this direction until it flows into the Ili River. The river takes its beginnings from a height of 3,500 meters. The total length of the river is 420 kilometers. The main source of the Chilik River is the Jangarak River that starts from a large glacier, Jangarak. The glacier lies on the eastern slopes of the Chilik-Kimin Bridge, connecting the Kungay Alatau and the Transili Alatau mountain ranges. The Jangarak River spans for almost 20 kilometers until it joins the Left Springs, the river's southeastern Talgar and southern Issyk. These rivers start at the largest glaciers of the Transili Alatau, Bogatyr and Korzenevsky. After the confluence of the streams, a wide riverbed is formed, and the river is now called Chilik. In the mountainous part, Chilik has over 45 confluents, and its flatland part has none. All confluents flowing on the right side are the glacier rivers located in the latitudinal section of the flow, coming down from the northern slope of Kungay Alatau range. The left confluents start in the Transili Alatau, and some of them also come from the glaciers. The north-south part of the Chilik River receives relatively large confluents from the left, Jnishke, Sarabulak, and Dası. The river catch basin area is 5,309 square kilometers. Its total length is 281 kilometers. Chilik is a typical mountain river with a rapid flow and an abrupt drop. The riverbed width in the upstream is 5 to 6 meters, in the midsection 10 to 15 meters, in the wider sections in the downstream 100 to 200 meters. The maximum depth is 1.5 to 2 meters. Chilik has well-defined glacier type of inflow. Its average annual water inflow is 32.7 cubic meters per second. High waters in the Chilik can be seen only after the hottest period, starting from the second half of June until mid-September. Several flood waves move along the river over this period. The main flow is in the summer. Just in July and August, it reaches 40% of its annual discharge. In September, the river discharge quickly drops, and in March, it reaches its lowest volume. Maximum average monthly river discharge exceeds the lowest by 7 to 10 times. Chilik is the most turbid river in the Transili Alatau. The Chilik River is very interesting for water tourism, as it has several long sections suitable for whitewater rafting of different difficulty levels from 2nd up to the highest 6th. The most popular is the 4th category 16-kilometer route starting from the base of Bartogay Dam until the hydrotechnical structures of the Big Almaty Channel near the Malabay town. Whitewater rafting has a history of several hundreds of years, but water tourism in Kazakhstan appeared in the 50s of the 19th century. First hikes and rafting on the Ili, Charin, Irtysh, Bokhtarma, Nura, Sirdarya, Uba, Koksu, and Lipsy rivers were arranged back in 1869. Kazakhstan river workers also studied rivers in other countries. They arranged expeditions to Russia, Indonesia, India, Nepal, and Kyrgyzstan. Sport rafting in Kazakhstan began to actively develop only in the late 20th century. In 1982, the first state competitions took place on the Kadrovka River in East Kazakhstan. After that, Kazakhstan's athletes participated both in state and in international competitions. In 1997, the national rafting team participated in the World Championship for the first time. It was their first World Championship in this kind of sport. After that, there was a break, but it did not last long. In 1999, a troop of students made 2 opening runs on the rivers in the Almaty region. First on the river Turgen, and 1 week later on the Chilik River from the Bartogay water reservoir. From there on, Kazakhstan's rafting started to rapidly develop. In 2000, Almaty had over 10 rafts. Today, rafting in Kazakhstan is very popular and continues to actively develop. The goal of Kazakhstan's water athletes is to unite enthusiasts of an active way of life and sports. This is how the river Chilik became one of the most popular rivers in the Almaty region. Below the town of Sattı, the river is jammed by solid rocks and runs into a narrow canyon, changing its direction from eastern to northern. The valley between the mountains ends here, and the Chilik River moves around Transilya Alatau from the east. Further on, near the towns of Algabas and Janatalap, it runs again into a deep and difficult-to-pass gorge and enters the land of the Toraygar mountain range, where it forms a typical 400 to 500 meter deep gorge. In this gorge, the Chilik River receives water from two confluents running down from the eastern slope of the Transilya Alatau, rivers Zhenishke and Sarıbulak. The gorge extends for 16 kilometers until it opens up to the Bartogay area. The Bartogay area is on the eastern side of the Transilya Alatau mountain range and in the western part of the Sogetinsky Valley. Before the construction of a dam on the Chilik River in the late 70s, this area was an amazingly beautiful natural resort with a rich plant and animal world. Later, the river was blocked by a 60-meter-high rock-filled dam, 330 meters long, after which the Bartogay water reservoir was formed. Tunnels were made through the rocks on the left and right sides to let the water run out. The water from the left side is sent to the lower pool of the dam and runs out like two fantastic beautiful fountains forming giant water balls. The dam provides a view of the blue water surface surrounded by forests and rocks. Two large earth breakups are under the Bartogay. Large rocks that fell from the mountains can be seen along the river in the gorge. This area experiences frequent earthquakes. Porphyritic rocks, black from the sun and half covered by soil, can be seen on an ancient terrace of the river. They show clear, deep scratches that are tens of thousands of years old. These are the tracks of a glacier that passed by here in the ancient times. The water reservoir, which is considered to be one of the most beautiful places in Kazakhstan, was made for collecting water in the winter and irrigating the fields in the summer. The project was called the Big Almaty Channel. It was the large-scale economic project of the Soviet era in Kazakhstan. The system consists of the Bartogay water reservoir and the channel itself with its branches and multiple hydrotechnical structures. The Bartogay water reservoir is surrounded by a dam which allows to regulate the water level of up to 870 million cubic meters, which is 90% of the river Chilik water flow. The Big Almaty Channel, which is 168 kilometers long, is intended for gravity-driven supply of controlled flow of the Chilik River to the Turgen, Issyk, Kaskelen, and other river basins, and further to the fields of the farms surrounding them. According to history, the Chilik River Valley is the land of the Alban tribe. The Kazakh Albans lived on the southern slopes, Kungay and Kyrgyz tribes, Bugu lived on the Terskay. This was the name for the northern slopes of the Alatau. The mountain dwellers used to disturb each other with stealing from time to time. Common conflicts used to appear here and there that would end up in small fights, but the two neighboring nations never had big wars between them. Difficult mountain steeps of the Kungay Alatau provided the Albans not only with spacious grazing lands, with forests full of game and rivers full of fish, but also protection from foe greedy for other herds. The armies of conquerors passed through the valleys near the caravanserai and towns of the Middle Ages, allowing the people living in the Upper Chilik area to peacefully tend their herds, hunt, and sing songs full of love for their blessed homeland.